Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at my run to a veteran, actually way above veteran as well, in the Psychic Cup, which is actually more of a cooler meta than I thought. It's a very fast meta, which I kinda like to have, and as you can see here right now, the video is only around like 14 minutes long, while we're going to have here 14 games in that, which is absolutely insane, and we're going to take a look today at my 11-3 run with this team here with Shadow Metagross. And Shadow Metagross, I have to say, surprised me quite a bit. I did not expect that this Pokemon would be any good, to be fair. I mainly did it just for trolling because I kind of wanted to try to lock in those Gardevoirs, lock in those fairy type Pokemon in this meta. But this Pokemon was absolutely insane. And the team itself worked out also really well here right now. We're going to have the Bruxish in the lead. Main reason for this is I need an answer for Bruxish, and my only answer for Bruxish is going to be Bruxish here, because if you can take a look at like the team in general, with any other Pokemon, I would have a different kind of hole in there as well for the team, which I didn't really want to have. For example, if I would have put something in the lead, like Gardevoir for example, this would be also kind of okay, but like at the end of the day, there was always like something that I didn't really want to face. For example, with Gardevoir or the Rapidash, you would have been weak against Victini, and I kind of needed an answer for both Victini as well as the, Bruxish, and as you can see right now, our Metagross is just taking wins left, right, and center, and also, the games are so short because a ton of people were forced to forfeit against me, which was absolutely insane. Like, the amount of forfeits we had this time around was super crazy, as you're going to see as well in today's video. We're going to now see the matchup of Victini against the double poison line, which I also showcased yesterday. If you haven't seen that one, I think it's mostly the double poison line. Encountered the double poison line quite often, which is kind of awkward for this team, but we are still able to come back from a lot of those games. Here we're going to be able to farm down the lead completely, as we're going to see the Malamar coming back in. We will be able to go for a charge move. Awkward here, gonna get through, gonna do some decent damage, waiting for them to throw, and now I'm gonna go for the full farm down with my Metagross, hoping that this is going to be enough for me to win this game. But now with a Slowking in the back, sadly there's nothing that I can do in this game, but there were somewhere I came back from. Here, mediocre lead, but we're going to have great answers in the back, so I'm going to swap out into my Victini, but I have to be a little bit careful, because especially after my video about high horsepower Rapidash, now a lot of people are actually running high horsepower on this Pokemon as well, which is, kind of awkward for me to play with, because Victini is not really the best matchup then for this Pokemon, but here we're going to be able to go for 2 V-Creates, going to be able to also get now the shield advantage, and I will just let this move go through. Body Slam not going to knock me out, even though we're double debuffed onto our defense, but we can use this opportunity now to go into our Metagross, use a shield onto the high horsepower, and get some nice farm. As the opponent goes into the Malamar, I'm going to be forced to swap out and catch a move, and sadly this is going to basically put me perfectly into their farm down range, and I'm going to have to forfeit again. Main reason for this was I needed one extra fast move for my Metagross in order to knock out their Pokemon there, and I just didn't get it. But we are 2 losses out of here already, so you most likely know already then that we're going to encounter quite a lot of wins later on. This team was absolutely insane. Got a 5-0 to got to veteran later on, and also I think a 3-2 before and a 3-1. So that's kind of how this worked for me. So totally crazy good team, which I did not expect at all. We can go for the full farm down against the Malamar. You're gonna get out the Bruxish. We can go for a V-Create, which they're most likely going to shield up here, which they definitely do. But I still have my own Bruxish for this one, and I think the opponent's Bruxish has very bad IVs, as I definitely have a breakpoint there with the Bite, which is really important, as now the Slowbro comes back in. I can go for the Psychic Fangs, gonna get the drop onto their defense, and it is now down to the Metagross to farm them all the way down. And this is a cool thing here. They could have Focus Burst, but they're usually running Surf plus the Such Bomb, and this will allow us to just go for the knockout here with a Media Mesh. Even though they still have a shield left, they're going to let this move go through, knowing that this game is over. Let's take a look at the next game. Coming up, we're going to have Bruxish against Rapidash. We're going to swap out here again immediately into the Victini. This is how you want to play this matchup, as you're gonna get out the Slowking from the opponent, where we can just take one move. This is going to be a Surf. You can take a Surf, which is basically the best possible scenario for you, as you can now go for a Recreate, and if they're going to shield this move up, you can also go for an Overheat afterwards, which is going to do more damage than a Recreate, and actually will get the knockout here if they let this move go through, which they do. Recreate wouldn't not get this move, like the knockout there, which is the main reason why you kind of want to go for the Overheat. Now we're going to have a double debuff. Recreate still coming through, gonna get get another shield, and now we have a 2-shield advantage with our Metagross against the opponent's Pokemon. Turns out there is not a single Pokemon that can win this matchup for them now, as far as I at least know, because everything in this cup, every single Pokemon in this cup, I think is one-shot by Metagross. I at least cannot think about a single Pokemon right now that can really survive one there. I guess if you would see like a Cressaya more often than, like, but I don't really see Cressaya too often. Even a Melima going to get knocked out from like a Meteor Mash after a little bit of pre-damage from like Bullet Punch. So like if you get to the first one, you usually get the knockout already. So like there are so many Pokemon that you're just going to be able to completely obliterate. As you're gonna go ahead, go for an Overheat here, they would be able to survive a V-Crate again, and you see already Overheat does more damage than a V-Crate, allowing me to now swap into my Bruxish, letting this move go through for sure. It should be a Surf, so we can survive this one, and we are not in the worst possible spot right now. They're most likely going to have their Slowking in the bag again. Let's take a look at this. They're going to go back into the Melima, so most likely a Slowking in the bag. But if we're lucky, it might be something like a Fairy-type Pokemon, which would be really cool to see, as they're going to go for a foul play, but they're going to decide to swap into their Slowking. And this is going to give us a unique opportunity here to take advantage of this fact, because we're going to get the defense drop onto them. They're forced to go for a charge move. I can shield this move up, forcing them to go for another one, but it's still going to be a little bit awkward. I have to swap out, but I didn't swap out in time. Should have swapped onto the charge move of the opponent, keeping my one Pokemon alive. There would have been actually definitely still a way of me winning this game with that, but I was not able to do this, and like this, the opponent going to be able to win this game here sadly as well. Means most likely the rest of the video is going to be fairly easy, as you know already that we went 11-3. So we're going to now see the next opponent. We're going to have a Melima against us in the lead here. We can swap out into a Victini, gonna get out the Slowbro, and this definitely seems to be the video, like the team that I showed in my video before, so the double poison line here. We're going to be able to go for one Recreate here against the opponent, going to be able to do some damage against them, and gonna get to another one, forcing a shield from them, so this is going to be fine for us. We gain this shield advantage here, and we're also going to gain some energy advantage here, which I'm also going to take the Surf from the opponent, as I know that my Bruxish is going to be very good against a lot of Pokemon. In comes now the Slowking, and I can go for the Meteor Mash, which is either getting the shield or the knockout, and we're going to take the shield from the opponent, allowing us now to swap into our Bruxish, shielding up the moves. It's going to be mostly the Surf bait. But in comes now the Melima, as we can go for the Awkward Tail against the opponent. This is going to be amazing for us, as we're now gonna get the opponent fairly low, and I'm going to let this move go through. Taking this move, getting knocked out, and I'm just going to rely on my Metagross. I felt like this was the perfect farm opportunity, and it definitely was, allowing us to keep still our Metagross alive here, go for the Meteor Mash, and this Slowking is not going to be able to withstand a single neutral Meteor Mash from a Metagross here in this meta, so this is going to be a very good game. Mediocre lead force. We're going to have the Bronzong against us. We're going to do super effective damage. They're going to do super effective damage. We can go for the Awkward Tail. They're actually going to get to their charge move at the same time, which is going to be the Heavy Slam, which is okay for us because we're actually going to be able to resist it, and we can win this lead matchup. And I should have actually swapped out into the Victini here, gaining some energy prior, because I'm going to swap out into it anyway, so why not do it already beforehand? So this was kind of a mistake by me, but I can now have the mirror matchup against Victini, which is very nice. As long as we don't throw the first person, we're going to be able to survive one charge move from the opponent, and this is exactly what we're going to do here right now. So throw a second, as we can now go ahead and go for another V-Crate afterwards. Getting one shield already, they're going to get my shield, but I can go for another one and getting another shield. So we're going to get here basically, actually we're going to get the knockout. We saw 4 V-Crates coming back to back there, as we're gonna see the final Pokemon being a Gardevoir, and we can say goodbye to the opponent. Forfeiting there. Let's see what is the next opponent going to do here right now. Gardevoir in the lead. We're going to swap out immediately into our Victini. This is kind of fine for us, as we can now see the matchup against Melima. You don't want to throw your V-Crate first, because they can take actually one foul play from them. So that's exactly what we're going to do, and now we can go for the back-to-back V-Crate, or for one Recreate and one Overheat, depends on if the opponent shields the first one. Here the opponent decided to no shield the first one, so we're going to just go for a V-Crate, because there's no difference in the options there. But basically, if you go for a V-Crate and you know that you can still go for an Overheat afterwards, just like if the opponent shields the V-Crate, of course, just go for the Overheat and maybe take the knockout there directly. Here we're going to be able to get the full farm down, and we're going to see that the opponent going to run their own Metagross in the back, allowing us to go for an Earthquake, which is going to be amazing for me. I can just go ahead and get the knockout, and the opponent swaps in their Gardevoir, which has nowhere to go. And we were able to farm them all the way down, like knock them out here. Let's take a look at the next opponent. We're going to have the Rapidash against the lead. Again, horrible lead for us. We're going to swap out into a Victini, trying to get out the opponent's Pokemon there, but they're going to stay in, and I'm going to invest a shield here in case it's a high horsepower, which it is. So great shield usage for me, as you're going to see the opponent's Victini coming in. Not as ideal for me. And also, overheat is a little bit tricky because now we're going to be double debuffed for our attack, but I didn't want to get debuffed for my defense yet, which definitely turns out to be a great idea here, because now, as you can see, we are still going to be able to just go for the V-Create as the opponent just doesn't want to throw a charge move against me, apparently. And now I can just let this move go through. Got 2 shields from the opponent, got the Victini very low. I can just go ahead and go into my Broguiere and also just farm them down, but I decide to swap out immediately now into my Metagross, farming down the opponent's Rapidash. They're going to get to another charge move, so I'm going to use another shield, but I have so much energy right now. The opponent's Victini should be in farm down range for my fast move already, and like this, it depends on what they're going to have in the back, but it's going to be a Melamar. I can align my Media Mesh at the same time as they're going to get to their charge move, which does not help them at all, because I can just win CMP, get the knockout, and go for another Media Mesh to get a triple KO from this Metagross in this game, which is just amazing. Next opponent coming up, we're going to have the Broguiere against a Melamar. Horrible for us. We're going to swap out into the Victini, which will be able to go for some V-Creates, but here I think I make a mistake. Yeah, I should not have went for the V-Create immediately here. This was a huge mistake, actually. Just let them throw one charge move first. It's a little bit risky though, because if they go for a Hyper Beam, they're going to knock you out, as far as I can see at least. I think at least they're going to knock you out with one Hyper Beam, so it's also a little bit of a risky play. If you're a Victini, to let the first move go through if you are not debuffed yet. Here, of course, we are debuffed, so they're definitely going to get the knockout. But I'm going to be able to get some extra energy here onto my Broguiere, I thought. But no, they decided to swap into the Gardevoir. Great play for us, as Metagross is going to feast on this Pokemon. And we're going to have so much energy that the opponent decides to just run away immediately. Why are you running? We're going to now see the next opponent going to have another Rapidash in the lead. You see already, we're going to lose nearly all the leads so far, but we're still coming back from all of them, as we were able to shield another high horsepower here. In comes the Slowking. I can go for one Recreate. Hopefully they're going to shield this move up, which they sadly don't. So now at this point, I'm just going to go for another V-Create. But if they don't know the counts, I might be fine to get to another one. And I definitely can get to another one, allowing me to get another shield from the opponent. And having such a huge advantage right now is going to be so nice for me, as I can let this move go through. I'm going to see the Surf coming in here. They're going to undercharge, which is smart. And I'm going to go ahead and go into my Broguiere, and I'm going to let this move go through. Metagross is my only real answer here for anything, so I'm going to just go ahead and go into my Metagross. You see the Rapidash coming back in. I can go for the full farm down this time around, and the opponent decides to run away. So why are you running? Final game for today's video, which is already so fast approaching to us, which is kind of wild, even though we had 14 games to go through. Like, that's a lot. Like, usually, like, if you see like videos for the old freak on my channel, it's around like maybe 9 to 10, around that. And here we have 14 games, and we are literally below the average view time for the videos that I usually put out. But this team was just so fast and so insanely strong. It is absolutely wild, as we're going to now get 2 shields from the opponent here and also some energy from them, which I gladly take for this final game, as I can go ahead and go into my Broguiere. We will see now that I'm going to let this move go through, because my only play here is to win with Metagross again. Surf comes through. We're going to see now that I'm going to decide to stay in here. They're going to go for a Shadow Ball most likely, which actually, never mind, they go for the Surf, and I can go for the full farm down. Have now a move stored, can go for a charge move against them, going to be the Awkward Tail, as I can now swap out immediately into my Metagross, getting some energy lead here. And using the shield for the foul play, they deciding to swap out onto my charge move here, but it does not work out for them. I'm going to have to now overfarm to 2 charge moves, because otherwise there's no lot that I can do about this one. So I have to have 2 Media Meshes stored, as the opponent had a move stored onto their other one there, onto the Melamar. So 1 knockout, second knockout coming straight afterwards, and this is going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.